Budgeting for irregular income. How to stay in control when your paycheck isn't predictable. Welcome back, incredible video, to Personal Finance Pro. I'm so glad you're here, because this is the place where we genuinely aim to strip away the confusion and frustration from money management, and instead bring absolute clarity, confidence, and calm to every single step of your financial journey. Today, we are tackling a topic that resonates deeply with millions of people, not just across the country but around the entire globe. How to master the art of budgeting to not just survive, but to truly thrive, when your income, by its very nature, is fundamentally irregular. If you find yourself navigating the dynamic world of freelancing, if you're hustling as a gig worker, building your dream as a self-employed entrepreneur, or perhaps you're in a sales role where commissions ebb and flow, or even working part-time with unpredictable hours, then let me assure you, this episode has been crafted with you specifically in mind. We understand that the traditional rigid monthly budget designed for a predictable 9-to-5 schedule paycheck often feels completely out of touch, almost mocking when your income doesn't arrive like clockwork on the 1st and 15th of the month. Trying to meticulously create a budget to plan your financial future when your income stream is as inconsistent as a flickering light can feel less like a strategic financial exercise and more like trying to build a magnificent multi-story house during a constant, unpredictable earthquake. You put one brick down and then the ground shakes, threatening to topple everything. It's stressful, it's disheartening, and it often leads to a cycle of overspending in good months and intense scarcity anxiety in slow months. But here's the genuinely good news, the promise that we want to deliver to you today. With the right strategies, with a mindset shift towards flexibility and proactive planning, you absolutely can create profound stability, deep peace, and unwavering control in your finances, even when the figures hitting your bank account fluctuate wildly from one week or month to the next. Let's unlock that power together. Section 1. Understand your income patterns. The very first foundational step, the absolute cornerstone, to successfully budgeting with irregular income is to gain a crystal clear understanding of your unique earning patterns. Think of it like a doctor meticulously diagnosing a patient before prescribing treatment. You can't effectively manage what you don't fully comprehend. So, how do we begin this crucial diagnostic process? Start by becoming a financial detective. You need to meticulously track your income, not just for the last month or two, but for a substantial period. We're talking over the past 6 to ideally 12 months, which is to say, anywhere from half a year to a full year. If you're a freelancer, pull up your invoicing software or your client payment records. If you're a gig worker, review your applications and payment summaries. For anyone with fluctuating paychecks, dive into your bank statements. This isn't just about noting down figures, it's about discerning trends. What months consistently stand out as high-earning peaks? Conversely, which periods are typically the low-earning troughs? Are there any predictable seasonal dips or surges in your industry? For instance, perhaps your freelancing work slows down significantly in December or during summer vacations, or maybe you see a spike in spring. Understanding these cycles is incredibly empowering. Once you've gathered this historical data, you'll be able to identify your income range. You'll see your highest earning months, your lowest, and everything in between. But here's the critical pivot. You are going to create your budget based on your lowest average monthly income, not your highest, and certainly not the average of your entire range. This conservative approach is your financial superpower. It's like setting a strict speed limit during a storm. It ensures that you are adequately covered, that your essential needs are met, even during the slowest, most challenging months. Think of this lowest average as your absolute financial floor, the bedrock upon which your entire budget will rest. Any income above this floor is a bonus, a strategic opportunity, not a given to be spent. To truly bring this data to life, to make it tangible and actionable, create a simple spreadsheet. Label columns for month income, notes on income source, and perhaps high-low indicator. Populating this spreadsheet will give you a powerful visual representation of your earnings roller coaster. Alternatively, leverage the incredible capabilities of modern budgeting applications like You Need a Budget, which is abbreviated as YNAB, or Mint. These tools are specifically designed to help you visualize the ups and downs of your earnings in intuitive charts and graphs. Mint helps you track spending and income retrospectively, giving you a historical overview. You Need a Budget, on the other hand, is built for proactive allocation, helping you give every dollar a job as it comes in, which is particularly potent for irregular income. This awareness, this deep understanding of your own unique financial rhythm is the first giant leap. It's what transforms you from a reactive participant in your finances to a powerful, intentional planner. It's the difference between feeling like you're constantly bailing water out of a leaky boat and expertly navigating your vessel with a clear map. Section 2. Build a buffer fund. Now that you understand your income patterns, it's time to equip yourself with one of the most powerful and stress-reducing tools for managing irregular income. Building what we call an income smoothing fund or a variable income buffer. Let's be crystal clear about this. This is not your emergency fund. Your emergency fund is your safety net for true unforeseen catastrophes. Job loss, a major medical emergency, a sudden car breakdown. Your income smoothing fund, however, serves a different, equally vital purpose. Think of it as a financial shock absorber for your cash flow or a temporary paycheck reservoir that catches the fall during those inevitable lean months. It's the financial equivalent of a sturdy bridge that carries you smoothly over the gaps in your income stream. The goal here is to strategically save enough to cover 1 to 2 months' worth of your basic living expenses into this dedicated buffer fund. Note the emphasis on basic living expenses. This means covering your Tier 1 essentials, which we'll discuss soon, not your entire lifestyle. You're building this fund gradually, intentionally, by setting aside a portion of your income during your higher earning months. Let's paint a picture. Imagine your basic living expenses. Rent, utilities, groceries, transportation, insurance, minimum debt payments, total around $3,500 per month. Now let's say you have a fantastic month and earn $5,000. Instead of letting that extra $1,500 simply disappear into discretionary spending or get eaten up by unnecessary purchases, you consciously and immediately bank that entire $1,500 into your income smoothing buffer. That figure of $1,500 is calculated by taking your $5,000 of income and subtracting your basic expenses of $3,500. Conversely, if the next month your income dips to $2,000, you don't panic. You still need $3,500 to cover your essentials. So, you would draw $1,500 from your buffer fund to supplement your income and ensure all your crucial bills are paid on time without dipping into debt or raiding your actual emergency fund. This $1,500 is determined by taking your needed $3,500 and subtracting your $2,000 of income, leaving a difference of $1,500 needed. This fund acts as your personal internal payroll system, effectively smoothing out your income even when the external payments are erratic. The psychological benefit of having this buffer cannot be overstated. It drastically reduces the stress and anxiety that comes with unpredictable income. No more waking up in a cold sweat wondering how you'll pay rent if that invoice is delayed. It allows you to maintain consistency in your lifestyle, even when your earnings are inconsistent. It gives you the peace of mind to focus on your work, on attracting new clients, or on improving your skills, rather than being constantly consumed by financial worry. Start small if you need to. Even saving $50 or $100 from every good paycheck will begin to build this crucial cushion. Consistency over intensity is key here. This buffer is your invisible, ever-present financial security blanket, ensuring your daily financial life remains stable and predictable, no matter how much your income fluctuates. Section 3. Prioritize fixed and essential expenses. When your income isn't a steady, predictable stream, your spending must be. This is your anchor, your immovable object in a sea of financial variability. The next critical step is to meticulously list out all of your fixed and truly essential expenses. We're talking about the non-negotiables, the expenses that keep a roof over your head, food on your table, and the lights on. This includes your rent or mortgage payment, absolutely necessary utilities like electricity, water, and perhaps a basic internet connection for work. Your grocery budget for essential food items, transportation costs, whether that's gas, public transport fares, or car payments and insurance, health insurance premiums, and crucially, minimum payments on any outstanding debts. These are the fundamental must-haves. They automatically go to the absolute top of your budget priority list. You are going to use your lowest income baseline, the financial floor we discussed earlier, to ensure you can comfortably cover these fixed and essential expenses, even in your absolute leanest month. This isn't about optimism, it's about pragmatic financial survival. It's about building an unshakable foundation for your financial life. Everything else, every single discretionary purchase, every spontaneous dining out experience, every streaming subscription beyond a basic necessity, Every new gadget, every extra coffee, comes after these essentials are fully budgeted for and accounted for. They are secondary, tertiary, or even non-existent in low-income months. A highly effective and widely popularized technique that brings this concept to life is what financial expert Dave Ramsey refers to as the 4 walls method. This is a powerful mental framework that guides your spending priorities, especially when money is tight. The 4 walls are food, utilities, shelter, and transportation. Let's break them down and truly understand their importance. First, food. We're talking about nourishing your body, putting healthy, basic meals on the table. This isn't about gourmet takeout or frequent restaurant visits. It's about groceries, meal planning, and ensuring you and your family have sustenance. In lean months, this means prioritizing cooking at home, utilizing sales, buying generics, and potentially even relying on pantry staples. Your food budget in these periods is purely functional. It's about survival and energy, not luxury or entertainment. Second, utilities. This encompasses your electricity, gas, water, and perhaps a basic internet service that is essential for work or communication. These are the services that keep your home functional, safe, and livable. Without them, your shelter might as well be uninhabitable. In tighter periods, this might mean being more mindful of energy consumption, turning off lights, adjusting thermostats, taking shorter showers to keep bills as low as possible. Third, shelter. This is your rent or mortgage payment. This is fundamental. Without a place to live, everything else becomes incredibly difficult. Your housing cost is often the largest single expense, and it must be covered. This is why understanding your lowest income baseline is so critical. If your lowest income can't even cover your shelter, then you have a more fundamental income problem that needs to be addressed through increased earnings or a reduction in your housing costs. Your primary goal is to ensure this payment is always made, on time, every single month. Fourth, transportation. This covers how you get to work, run essential errands, or access critical services. It could be your car payment, car insurance, gas, public transportation passes, or rideshare costs for necessary trips. Again, this isn't about leisure drives or expensive car upgrades, it's about essential mobility. In lean months, this might involve carpooling, walking more, or using public transport over personal vehicles to minimize costs. By mentally and practically compartmentalizing your budget around these 4 walls, you create an immediate, non-negotiable hierarchy for your spending. When money comes in, whether it's a large sum or a small one, these categories are funded first. Only after these pillars are secured can you even begin to consider allocating funds to other categories like debt repayment beyond minimums, personal care, clothing, or of course, discretionary spending like entertainment or subscriptions. This ruthless prioritization provides immense clarity and significantly reduces the chance of falling behind on critical bills, which in turn protects your credit score and your overall financial stability. It's a disciplined approach, but it's one that empowers you to weather any financial storm with far greater resilience. Section 4. Use a zero-based budgeting strategy. Once you've identified your income patterns and prioritized your essential expenses, the next powerhouse strategy for anyone dealing with irregular income is to embrace a zero-based budgeting strategy. This method is incredibly intuitive once you understand its core principle. Every single dollar of your income is assigned a specific job. No dollar is left sitting idly in your checking account, unassigned and susceptible to accidental spending. Every dollar gets a purpose, a destination, a role in your financial plan. Here's how it works in practice. When you receive income, no matter if it's a large invoice payment, a smaller gig payout, or a commission check, you immediately allocate it. You don't wait until the end of the month. You don't hope it lasts. You proactively decide where that money is going. And you do this based on your predetermined priorities. You start, as we've just discussed, with your essentials: shelter, utilities, food, transportation. Fund these categories first. Then, you move to your minimum debt payments. After that, you allocate money towards your savings goals, such as building up that income smoothing buffer, contributing to your emergency fund, or saving for a specific financial objective. Only after all these crucial categories are fully funded do you then, and only then, consider discretionary spending categories like dining out, entertainment, hobbies, or shopping. The beauty of zero-based budgeting for irregular income earners lies in its inherent flexibility and control. In a month where your income is unexpectedly high, you might find that after funding your essentials, debt, and even your savings goals, you have more money left over. What do you do with it? You give that money a job too. Perhaps you accelerate debt repayment, pre-fund next month's essential bills, or bolster your savings accounts even further. In a month where your paycheck is disappointingly small, the zero-based approach forces you to prioritize. You might only be able to fund your absolute essentials, and that's okay. The point is that every dollar has a purpose, preventing you from overspending because you didn't realize how little was truly available after your core obligations. This method actively prevents phantom money, the illusion that you have more spendable cash than you actually do, simply because it's sitting in your checking account. By assigning every dollar a job, you eliminate that ambiguity. You gain a precise understanding of exactly how much money you have for each spending category at any given moment. Many budgeting applications are specifically built around this zero-based philosophy, making it incredibly easy to implement. You Need a Budget, for example, is renowned for its give every dollar a job approach. When money comes in, it prompts you to allocate it to various categories until your to-be-budgeted amount hits zero. This forces intentionality and provides a crystal-clear picture of your available funds. Even a simple spreadsheet can facilitate this. List your income, then subtract each allocated expense until you reach a balance of zero. This continuous process, rather than a once-a-month reconciliation, keeps you highly engaged with your money and ensures that you are always operating with a clear, current financial picture. It's about empowering every dollar to work for you rather than letting it slip away without a clear direction. Section 5. Create a tiered spending plan. Building upon the foundation of prioritizing essentials and using a zero-based approach, the next intelligent strategy for managing fluctuating income is to implement a tiered spending plan. Think of your budget not as a rigid, flat landscape, but as a multi-level structure with 3 distinct floors or tiers of spending. This flexible structure is your secret weapon for adapting gracefully to the inevitable ups and downs of your income. Let's define these 3 crucial tiers. Tier 1, Essential Expenses, Needs. This is your baseline, your absolute non-negotiable living expenses. These are the same 4 walls we discussed: shelter, utilities, basic food, and transportation. This tier also includes minimum debt payments and essential insurance. These are the costs you must cover every single month, regardless of your income level. They represent the bare minimum required to maintain your current lifestyle without accruing new debt or falling into arrears. In your lowest income months, your spending plan will strictly adhere to Tier 1. There is no room for anything else. This ensures survival and stability during challenging periods. Tier 2, Important but non-essential, Wants. This tier encompasses expenses that significantly improve your quality of life but aren't strictly necessary for survival. Think of things like a moderate budget for dining out or takeout, not every meal, but a few enjoyable ones. Streaming services beyond one absolute essential, gym memberships or fitness classes. Personal care items that are nice but not fundamental, e.g. salon visits, premium skincare. Savings contributions beyond your buffer fund, e.g. towards retirement, a down payment, or long-term goals. Paying extra on debt, accelerating payoff. A modest entertainment budget, e.g. a movie ticket, a local event. These are the things you can comfortably afford in average income months after Tier 1 is fully covered. They provide comfort, enjoyment, and progress toward financial goals. When your income is average, you expand your spending capacity to include these items. Tier 3, Extras and Luxuries, Splurges. This is your nice-to-have category, the discretionary spending that brings joy and indulgence but can be cut entirely without impacting your core well-being. This might include expensive vacations or travel, high-end shopping sprees for clothes or electronics, significant home upgrades or renovations, luxury dining experiences, expensive hobbies or elaborate entertainment, large gifts or charitable contributions. These are the expenditures reserved for your high-income months. When you have an exceptionally good earning period, after fully funding Tier 1, Tier 2, and significantly bolstering your savings and investments, you can then allocate a portion of the surplus to these celebratory splurges. This tiered structure is remarkably effective because it builds flexibility directly into your budget. It's not about creating 3 separate budgets. It's about having one dynamic plan that you adjust based on the income you actually receive that month. During lower income months, your focus narrows and you stick rigorously to Tier 1. In average months, you have the breathing room to include Tier 2. When your income is high, you have the exciting opportunity to include Tier 3 and, crucially, to significantly increase your savings contributions, pre-fund future months, or make large debt payments. This adaptability ensures that your spending adjusts fluidly with your income without throwing your entire financial plan off balance, preventing both overspending during flush times and panic during lean ones. It's a pragmatic and empowering way to live within your means, no matter how unpredictable those means might be. Section 6. Plan for taxes and irregular costs. This next strategy is absolutely non-negotiable, particularly if you are self-employed, a freelancer, or a gig worker operating as an independent contractor. If you fall into these categories, you must plan for taxes proactively and rigorously. The worst financial shock for a variable income earner is receiving a large tax bill at the end of the year or quarter, having spent all your income and suddenly realizing you owe thousands of dollars. Therefore, the golden rule here is to set aside a significant portion of your income for taxes as soon as you receive it. A common recommendation is to set aside anywhere from 25 to 30% of your gross income, which is to say roughly 1/4 to 1/3 of your earnings, but this can vary depending on your income level, deductions, and state tax laws. It's always best to consult with a tax professional to get an accurate estimate for your specific situation. The critical part is to treat this money as if it is not yours. It's the government's money, and you are simply holding on to it until it's due. Open a separate dedicated savings account specifically for taxes and transfer that percentage immediately upon receiving any payment. This creates a psychological and practical barrier against accidental spending. When tax time comes, you'll have the funds ready, avoiding penalties and immense stress. Beyond income taxes, it's equally vital to account for irregular but expected costs. These are expenses that don't hit every single month, but you know they're coming at some point during the year. Examples include annual insurance premiums, car insurance, homeowners or renters insurance, professional liability insurance, vehicle registration and maintenance, yearly registration fees, anticipated car repairs, tire rotations, holiday spending, gifts, travel, special meals during the festive season, medical co-pays or deductibles, especially if you have a high deductible health plan, home maintenance, annual furnace checks, gutter cleaning, unexpected minor repairs, software subscriptions or professional memberships, annual fees for tools you need for work. Birthdays and anniversaries, specific dates that require gift budgets. To manage these, you need to implement what are often called sinking funds. A sinking fund is essentially a mini savings account for a specific future expense. Here's how you set it up. Estimate the total cost of each irregular expense for the entire year. Then, divide that total by 12, representing the full year's months. The resulting figure is the amount you need to save monthly into a dedicated sinking fund for that specific expense. For example, if your annual car insurance premium is $1,200, you would save $100 per month. This $100 is the result of dividing the $1,200 annual premium by 12 months. When the premium is due in 6 months, you'll have $600 ready in that fund. If you have an annual professional software subscription of $240, you save $20 per month. This $20 is the result of dividing the $240 annual fee by 12 months. This systematic saving prevents these larger, non-monthly costs from becoming sudden financial shocks that derail your budget. Instead, they become predictable, manageable allocations. The combination of proactively saving for taxes and meticulously planning for irregular costs through sinking funds gives you a tremendous sense of financial control and foresight. It eliminates the dreaded surprise expenses that often force people into debt or deplete their regular savings. It's about building a robust financial defense system that anticipates potential vulnerabilities and shores them up before they become problems. This level of planning is not just smart. It's absolutely essential for sustainable financial success when your income flow is anything but steady. Section 7. Develop a monthly money ritual. Finally, and perhaps most crucially, the key to truly mastering your irregular income is to cultivate a consistent monthly money ritual. Budgeting isn't a one-and-done event. It's an ongoing conversation you have with your money. Consistency and regular engagement are what transform financial anxiety into financial empowerment. At the start of each month, or immediately after a significant income influx, set aside dedicated time for your money ritual. This is your personal financial boardroom meeting. During this time, you'll perform a few key actions. First, review your projected income for the upcoming period. Even if it's uncertain, estimate conservatively. Don't wildly guess. Use your historical data from Section 1 to make an educated, lowball estimate. This is the income you will primarily budget from. If you have a few invoices coming in that you are confident will clear, you can factor those in. But always err on the side of caution. It's far better to have a surplus than a deficit. Second, assign your budget based on your estimated income using your zero-based approach and tiered spending plan. Fund your Tier 1 essentials first, then Tier 2 if your income allows, and then set aside any surplus for your buffer fund, taxes, sinking funds, or accelerated debt payments. This is where you proactively give every new dollar a job. Beyond the monthly check-in, cultivate a weekly money check-in. This doesn't have to be long or arduous. It might just be 15 to 30 minutes. During this time, you'll track your spending. Review your transactions from the past week. Are you sticking to your categories? Where did your money go? Adjust categories as needed. Life happens. Maybe you spend a little more on groceries than anticipated or less on transportation. This is your chance to pivot. Move money between categories if necessary, as long as your essential categories remain fully funded. This flexibility is what makes irregular income budgeting sustainable. Monitor your progress toward goals. Are you on track with building your buffer? Are your sinking funds growing as planned? This reinforces positive habits and keeps you motivated. The more involved you are, the more frequently you engage with your money, the more control you gain. It's like checking the navigation system on a long road trip. You don't just set it and forget it. You check it periodically to ensure you're still on the right path and adjust for any detours. Additionally, use a calendar to plan out income dates, bills, and deadlines. Visually seeing when large expenses are due or when expected payments are coming in provides immense clarity and significantly reduces anxiety. Set reminders for tax payments, annual premiums, and other irregular costs.